Okay. Today we're going to start Daf Nun Vav. It's 56A. Okay, so first of all, we thank Hashem that we're able to learn every day. And in this course of our learning, we should have the basic English immediately. And also, Father should have a for Shlema. Okay, so the Mishnah starts like this. Nedarim Daf. Someone says that he's not going to have benefit from a house. So Mutter Baliyah. So the house doesn't include the second floor, the attic. That's not the house. That has a different name. And when it comes to Nedarim, you follow the way people talk. And so he doesn't call that a house. He calls that the attic. Reb Meir. That's what Reb Meir says. Reb Meir says that the attic is not part of the house. Under the title house, that's something else. The Chacham say no. Aliyah b'chlal bayis. The attic is part of the house. It doesn't have to be an attic. It could be just any second floor. The second floor is part of the house. However, everyone would agree that Hanoidim min Aliyah mutar b'bayis. That if he says it the other way, if he says he's not going to have benefit from the second floor or from the attic, that he is allowed.
I'm sorry. What page is this?
This is 56.
I remember finishing with the Mishnah Hanoidim and Exus yesterday.
I didn't do that.
We did this.
We
did that.
You did Hanoidim and Exus?
I think so. At least I have notes on it, so I don't know.
Okay.
We definitely did Scortia.
Yeah, we spoke about Scortia.
Right.
Remember, we said it was a what was
All
Scortia?
right.
It was a Tanner's apron.
Yeah, we ran right through it.
Okay, so we're Nun Vav Amud Aleph, right on the top.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So they may be asking if we should do Chazara. For that, I'm going to have to go back to brachas. It's a tall order. So everyone would agree that Hanoidim min Aliyah, that it does not cover it's not the Aliyah. Oh, then he's mutar b'bayis because the Aliyah is the second floor of the attic. That doesn't mean the house. The question is, the house includes the attic, but the attic for sure doesn't include the house under the title. Iman Tana, who's the author of the following brisa? It says b'bayis. It says this is referring to saras, which is leprosy. It can come on the body, it can come on clothing, it can come on the house. So in that section where it talks about the house, it says the word in the house, or bebeis eretz achuzaschem, or it says kenega nearly babayis. So it says the word house. So the leprosy could be on the house, but that word house, l'Rabbi says yitzia. It's also coming to include yitzia is like a storage room. How do they translate it there?
Gallery.
What is it?
Gallery.
A gallery? All right.
Then there's a long explanation.
I thought it was something else.
It'd be like a porch, like you see,
He's translating it as a different word. There's another version to this text. One explanation is the gallery for the story of the balcony of the upper story. Oh, okay. So it's used for storage. Most commentators say that the text here is corrupted. And it's not actually supposed to say not Yitzia, it's supposed to say Tzavua, which means that it's painted, it's colored. And the explanation for this is that there would be a difference between tzaras on clothing and tzaras on the house. Tzaras on clothing is only on pure wool or linen. It has to be wool or linen clothing. That's a beged. I actually thought that I seem to remember that the Rambam says that even if it's dyed, the same thing would apply. But there's a source that says no, that it doesn't apply if it's colored. But on the house, even if it's colored, the same thing would apply. Babayis, afilu l'Rabbi says it's savua. Even if it's colored, it doesn't have to be just a bare stone wall, right? Could even be colored. And babayis, what else? I'm sorry.
This gutter reminds me, I've seen some houses where they'll make a second floor in the garage. And it kind of looks like a bug.
Oh.
It's a storage.
Uh-huh. So what you have going on? You're redoing your garage, making a yitzia.
Oh, that's
That would be
above the garage.
Uh-huh.
This is the garage.
be another what do you call when props for the Gemara. Babayis l'Rabbi says aliyah, and babayis is also including the aliyah. Now, what's going on now is exactly the opposite of what you would think. What the Gemara is saying is that why do I need a pasuk to teach me that it's including the aliyah? Bias is the aliyah. Aliyah means the attic. I don't need an extra word in the Torah to teach it to me. That's the meaning of the word. But if someone says he takes a vow from the house, he's in that expression, house is including the attic. So why do I need an extra word in the Torah to teach this to me if that's what it means? So who could this be? It must be Amar Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda says Reb Meir. It's Reb Meir. Di Rabbanan Amar Rabban Aliyah B'chlal Bias. Lam Likra B'Bias L'Rebuya. Why would I need a pasuk? According to the Rabbanan that say the bias is the aliyah. I mean the aliyah is not the bias, is the aliyah. The aliyah is the bias. The attic is the house. So then you already have it when you said it the first time. We don't need an extra pasuk to include it. Okay, so who is saying this? This is Rav Chisda. Chisda says that it has to be, the source of that brisa is Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir says normally a house does not include the attic. Torah says an extra time house is coming to include the attic because of the extra time. Abaye Amrafil Tamer Rabbanan. Abaye says that it could actually be the rabbis, the sages, that they said that the house does include the attic naturally, but Ba'ikra, but we still need the pasuk. Sal Kadaita Chamina, because it could have entered your mind to say, if you read that section over there in Vayikra, chapter 14, talks about the tzaras on the house. Over there it says, Bebeis Eretz Achuzaschem Ksiv. It says a house in the land of your inheritance. It's only in the land of Israel that a house can have tzaras. It excludes Yerushalayim because Yerushalayim wasn't divided up. It's the land of your inheritance. It means only those lands that are inherited. As in the privately owned lands, which is the rest of Israel, over there you can have tzaras. There could be tzaras. So, but what that tells me, the Beis Eretz Achuzaschem means a house on the land of your inheritance. The Mechaber Ba'ara Shmei Bayis. It has to be on the ground level. Aliyah, but the attic, Halei Mechaber Ba'ara, but it's not on the ground level. So even according to the rabbis that say that normally a house would include the attic, so why do I need over here a pasuk of babayis to include the attic? Because I have another pasuk that says that it's in the land of your inheritance, which would tell me that it's only a ground level. So I need the extra pasuk to then re-include the upper level. According to whom does the following statement go of Rav Huna Bar Chia? Rav Huna Bar Chia says the name of Hula. Bayis bebeisi ani moichalach. I'm selling you a house in my house. And Mareo Aliyah, he shows him a house in the house. Okay, he shows him the upper level. Shows him the second floor. According to whom would that go? What would we say? Not Reb Meir, right? Time Adamar bias shebebeisi ani moichalach. Aval bias tam eina Mareo Aliyah lema Reb Meir. It's exactly the opposite of what we would have said. He said bias bebesi, a house in my house. So that unique expression means that it's talking about the upper level. But if you just would have said a house, then it wouldn't have meant the upper level. That would mean that's exactly Reb Meir's view. Reb Meir held that the upper level is not part of the house. So the Gemara says it doesn't have to be that. It could be a little different. And when we say Mareu Aliyah, it doesn't mean the upper level. Afil Temer Rabbanan. When we say it could really be the rabbis, that they say that the house, even just the plain word house, always includes the upper level. My Aliyah, what does it mean? Aliyah, Ma'ula Shebabatim. It means the best. It doesn't mean that he shows him the upper level. He said, here what's happening, there's a sale taking place that the guy didn't exactly say. He just gave him the address, but he didn't tell him which floor it's going to be on. So he says he shows him the upper level. So here we're saying that it's not necessarily so. It doesn't, that's not necessarily what the Brisa means. It means the best. Brisa could mean the best part of the house, not Aliyah. The word Aliyah means upper level. And Ma'ula means best. It's the upper part of the house, but it's not higher. It's just the best part of the house. No, it doesn't have to
mean show.
It could mean the ground floor. It's when the Brisa said, when it's not a Brisa, it's a Ula saying Mareu Aliyah. What he really meant to say was he shows him the best part of the house. I'm sorry.
So what does it mean that he shows him the part of the house?
This is the part that I sold you. This is the part that you bought.
Oh, okay.
It was one of these Chinese auctions and things where you can win a house in Israel.
And then they give you a room.
And then they give you
Real estate.
That's right. Okay.
Rabbi, when they show condos, it's the penthouse, the highest level. That's always the most expensive. So could both meanings could jive.
Taking both pshatim, yeah. They're taking both pshatim, right? Right. Why do they make the penthouse the most expensive? Why do they do that?
Because the view.
Because of the view. Uh-huh. No, but why don't they do with the bottom floor? I mean, I guess it's the view.
Also have the rooftop there. That's valuable. The rooftop is in of itself is special.
Uh-huh. I'm sure in some places it's just because they do it in other places, so they do
Some
it there.
places the bottom.
Oh.
Caution.
Uh-huh.
Like if you sign to older people,
Right,
they don't want to go upstairs.
right. Uh-huh. Okay.
But in the end, at the end of the day, it's just all about nomenclature, right?
Right.
So it takes balance. What's a house?
Right. Right. Get him that trophy.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Nedarim Daf. Got the new trophies?
Skeletor.
That's the present.
Nedarim Daf. Someone takes a vow, he's not going to have benefits from a bed. I know people like this. They like the couch. Mutter b'dargish. He's allowed to have benefit from a dargish. See what the dargish is. Dargish is, it sounds like a step stool or something, but we're going to see that it's not really what it is. We'll have two possibilities here. What do they call it?
Stretcher.
That's what they say. It's a stretcher.
Yeah, like for carrying a person.
Oh.
But it's sort of unclear.
But they're not sure.
Well, wait a minute, and we'll get to the Gemara is going to explain. Divrei Meir. This is what Reb Meir says. Reb Meir says that a dargish, which we didn't translate yet, is not included in the word bed, in the nomenclature. Bed. The sages say dargish b'chlal mita, that it is considered a bed. Everyone would say that the opposite, though, that a bed is not a dargish. There's got to be some sort of unique bed, but when you say bed, you didn't include that. But if you would say that unique bed, then obviously you didn't mean a regular bed. My dargish, the Gemara asks, what is this dargish? Ula arsa de gada. Ula says that it's a bed for mazel. It's this bed that no one sits on. It's just there for like good luck of some sort. It's a kisa shalelio. It's a bed that's just like the mita shalelio, right? Yeah, no one uses it. It's just like that one chair that's there for some sort of mazel. Good luck. Yeah. Sometimes in some places there was a rabbi that he had the shul or the yeshiva or something, and then he passed away, and they like put a wall around his chair, like a little fence around the chair. No one would sit. That's the chair.
If you saw the exactly the same thing.
Little fence.
Yeah.
It's on the Rebbe's office too.
Could be. Could be, yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah, in Turin, they have a chair that you would wash and sat in.
Oh, that's right.
In the
But is
synagogue,
it fenced off?
remember
I don't remember it being fenced off.
I wasn't
the
there.
kid-
The kids.
I was just told by my son.
No, I was there.
His whole class sat in it.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Because they said not. Because they said not.
Of course, the high point of
Talking about the chair in Touro Synagogue that George Washington sat in. The tour guide tells you he sat over there, and then okay. Amalei Rabbanan Leula. So now we're talking about this bed that's not used. If someone says a bed, he's not going to have benefit from a bed. Is he allowed to sit on that chair that's never used? And not sit on that bed or lay on that bed that's never used because of. So it wasn't referring to that. So he would be allowed to, according to Reb Meir, and the Chacham say that he wouldn't be allowed to. Now the Rabbanan say to Ula, Hadetnan, we have a Mishnah. It says, Kishehin Mavrnai say Kala Am Mesuban al Aretz, V'hu Mesev al Adargish. The Kohen Gadol is mourning. So what happens to him by a mourner is that the first meal they feed him, they bring him food. It's called Sudas Havra. It's done outside or something. Anyway, what's the seating arrangement there? So by the Kohen Gadol, so he sits on a dargish, and everyone else sits on the ground, and he sits on the dargish. Well, Kula Shaita Yasavala, Yaima Yasavala. Umar is a little surprised about this. This is a chair that they never sit on. And now he's supposed to be in mourning. If he would be sitting on a chair that they never sit on, that would be like putting him on a throne. That's the wrong. It doesn't make sense that when he's feeling low, they put him on this chair that's so special that no one ever sits on. So Maskefla Ravina, this Maskefla Ravina, I'm a little surprised. I didn't get a chance to look at what they say over there, but the Gemara ended off like in astonishment, like now he's going to sit on this, and now Maskefla Ravina would be an answer to that. But Maskef usually means a question, so maybe it means he challenged. He challenged the question by putting an answer in. How do they translate Maskef?
Ravina objects to the question.
Objects to the question. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why are you asking that sort of?
Right. He's going to answer the question, but the term that's used here is a maskef, which is very odd. What are you concerned about?
Say like meets Al-Qadaya or something.
Yeah.
Don't think that way.
Right. Very good. Okay, so Maskefla Ravina challenges the question. It says, Midi dehavi abasa v'yayin. It's just like wine and meat. The kula shaiti ba yachali ba la yachalu yayma anan yavinan. The mourner is allowed to eat meat and wine. The oinain is not allowed to have meat and wine because we don't want him to get distracted from the funeral. But after the funeral, he's allowed to eat meat and wine. And oinain is the day before the funeral. That is the day of death, before the burial. So, but the mourner, once, remember we learned in Ksubis, I think, that they would give him 10 cups of wine, and then they would give him more, but then they saw it was getting out of hand, they cut it down to 10. But and they said, well, wine was made for the mourner or something for the. So look at this. The whole year we don't give him meat and wine. If he wants, he could eat. If he doesn't want, he doesn't have. Now we're serving him. So what's the problem? That now he's sitting on this chair the whole year. Maybe he sits, maybe he doesn't sit, but or he doesn't sit. But now we serve him. So you see, we have another case, that another example of something that we're doing that's a little bit out of place, but nevertheless, this is the way we do it by the mourner. Eloha kasha. But if you want, this is the question. If you want to ask a question specifically, I'll tell you there's another question that you should ask. The Tanya was starting a brisa, maybe that's why it says maskif. Maybe the maskif is for the next question.
You keep on texting me every week.
We'll talk about it with Doc. We'll talk about it with the teacher.
The Tanya was starting a brisa. Dargish loy haya kaifeyu el azaykfai. You know, by in a mourner's house, you're supposed to turn over the beds.
We learned.
Yeah, I don't think we turn. Do we turn over a mattress or something?
We
like?
don't, but remember we discussed that
discussed.
the way the beds work, that you flipped it over and it would be lower by
Oh.
flipping it. That's what
Uh-huh.
we don't.
We don't. Yeah, but anyway, it says the dargish they wouldn't flip it over. El azaykfai. El azaykfai could have two possibilities. Zaykfai means that they don't turn it all the way over; they just stand it up on its side. There's another possibility that zaykfai means that you just leave it. How do they translate it in English? You leave it standing. Leave it standing means, how do they translate? But the dargish?
Merely stands it on its side.
Oh, they say
It's like
stand it on
stands
the
in
side. Stands it on the side. Yeah, there were two commentaries here. The Rush says that you just leave it. And he says, don't say it means stand it on its side.
Stand outside so that the
Is this the
person will
Rashi?
sleep on the floor.
Oh, there is a Rashi. Yeah, so there he's translating according to Rashi that you stand it on its edge, so it's on two legs, it's laying on the two legs instead of the others in the air. Whatever the case is, the dargish is not treated like the other beds. You either leave it standing or you flip it on its side, but not all the way over. The Yamitar said the Gadahu, but if you say that it's this bed that's just for good luck, it's a good luck bed. But Tanya. But he has to turn over all the beds in the house. Why are you saying that the dargish he doesn't have to turn over? So this is Ravina's question. Who asked the first question? The Rabbanan asked Ula this question. The first question about the Kohen Gadol. Ravina says that's not a question. Then following is the real question. They say, Holei Kasha, that's not a question. No, don't worry about that. This is, it says it's called bed, but it doesn't mean that it's a bed. This is a bed that's made, it's like a bed that's made for holding utensils, which is really, we would call it like a counter. But then it was called a bed. The Tanya was taught in a brayse. If it was a bed that was made for utensils, you don't have to turn it over. So this is just like a bed that's made for utensils. When did we say all beds of the house have to be turned over? That means all the beds of the house. But this is not really a bed of the house, a bed that you sleep on. But this is like a bed that's used just for holding things, or a bed that's used for nothing, just for show.
That's interesting because if we use the first types of the mala, not as the best, not as the penthouse, but the attic typically was a place that no one slept in, but was used for storage. But it could be slept in this day. And this is also a bed that would, even though it could be slept in, but it was really used for storage. I'm just saying. There
You're
are
saying the
parallels.
comparison in the Mishnah.
Or coins, you know that? Says specifically for vessels or coins. Like safe.
No, what happened is that it was like a low counter that was used by the money changer or something. Yeah, it says something about a mita by the. It says if he gets up and there's coins there, who does it belong to? But that was the Lefnei HaShulchan. But then there was also something in Elam Metzias about a bed, coins on a bed.
For a single.
No, that was in
Yes.
Shabbos. It had coins on a. Anyway, okay.
What
Ellie-
about coins in the fountain?
Three,
So-
just 3 coins.
They didn't get it.
I
On
know,
the
you
as
don't
that
know
morning,
that.
why is he allowed to sit there? He said that
Three of us.
it doesn't mean.
50's moving.
We said that it's not much of a problem
I
because
know what they-
usually we don't serve him wine either, and we don't serve him meat. But when he becomes a mourner, we do give him wine and we do give him meat. We serve it. So we do like raise his level a little bit as a mourner. So similar to that, yeah, we gave a comparison of something else that we do.
Yeah.
Maybe, but we do it really for every mourner. We give them wine and meat. But here by the Kohen Gadol, he sits by in the dargish. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't. I'm not sure what it's about. If it was specific about other people where they sat. If it wasn't a Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol is the leader. Okay. Kasha. Now we go to this. If you have a question, there's a different question. We're on our third one. The Tanya was taught in a brayso. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel Aimer dargish mater karvita v'hu neifel mi'elav. Shimon ben Gamliel says that the dargish, you don't have to turn it over. You just undo the hooks that held it in. How does it translate? Karvita hook loops. You undo the loops, and then it. What is that?
You don't want to know.
We're having an old.
Okay.
3 coins in the fountain.
The sidebar.
So you undo the loops and then it falls down. Now the question is, if the dargish is really a regular bed, it's just not used. It was a bed that was used that was just for show, just for the mazel. Kavita miyislei, does it have loops? We thought that this was a regular bed. It was just a bed that was designated for good luck. Not that it's made differently. Kiyasa Ravin Amar, when Ravin came, he said, I asked this rabbi, Rav Tachlifa bar Marava Shmei, his name was Rav Tachlifa bar Marava. I guess Ula came before Ravin. We have Ula, Rav Dimi, and Ravin are the main travelers that came from Eretz Yisrael. Yeah. Ravin came later. So when Ravin came, he said that I asked this question already. This Rav Tachlifa bar Marava would frequent the marketplace of the tanners. Bamali, my dargish, he said, you know what the dargish is? Arsa Ditzala. It's the bed of the tanners.
Whoa.
I'm trying to figure out from the Ran what exactly this bed is. Apparently it had a frame and the picture.
The pictures. Our school also. Strong with the picture.
What is going on there?
So this is
Drill a
the
hole
frame.
through it. And you put
No,
a
that's
small-
something else. That's something
Show
else.
him this. Show him this. Our school's coming through big time. Oh.
One second, you're jumping ahead. Those pictures go ahead. That's the next piece.
Oh.
That's the next piece. Yeah, it could be explaining this, but right over here.
Pretty risky.
Apparently, they didn't want the leather to get dirty by the ground, so they would have this bed where they could spread the leather over,
Oh,
something like that.
so
Okay.
this Ravin said.
Now, Itmar was taught statement. Ezo mita veze dargish. Usually, Itmar is usually followed by a machlekes. Rav Amar this, Shmuel Amar that. Over here, Itmar is just a statement. Ezo mita is a question. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah mita mesargan aisel gaba dargish mesargan aisel megufe. Doesn't seem like a machlekes. Mesargan is to weave. What is mesargan? How do they translate that? The way they would attach the
Straps.
straps to the frame So the bed, you have a frame, and they would put the ropes over the top of the frame, and they would tie it around. So it would go over the boards on the side. They would tie it around like that over the top. And a dargish, they had holes in the frame itself that they could put the strap through the holes, through the center of it. Oh, here you have a picture for this. Okay.
He was just.
Oh,
Yeah.
as I said there. So
That's good.
Rabbi.
what is that? Okay, so Amar Meisvei. Now we have a question. Kliates meimasai mekabel tuma. When does a wooden vessel become tummy? You know that when does it become susceptible to becoming tummy, to impurity? It has to be a completed vessel. Before it's completed, it's not considered a vessel. So when is it considered completed? So depends how impatient you are, I guess. It says Hamita Varisa, the bed and the cradle, Mishi Yeshufim Ba'oradag, when they're polished with the fish skin. There must have been an oil on the fish skin that they would polish the wood. Is that what it says there? Shalak? I think it just had oil in it, and they would rub it down to polish it. Maybe it has sandpaper. Yeah, the Ran says lahachlik. It would, but it would sand it to make it nice. I'm not sure if it's oil or if it's a polish.
There must be maybe the skin of a shark, like a rough skin.
Which was
He's asking Oradag, how does it use to sand? I was saying that it's oil, but it sounds like it's sanding it. So it's pretty odd, fish skin. But maybe they would dry it. Maybe if it dried, maybe it was different. But if a bed is wrapped over the frame by the ropes, by the straps, so why do you have to sand it down? It's covered anyway. Rather, both the bed and the dargish, the straps don't go over the frame, they go through the frame. Mita, they go through, they go in and they come out. So it would be like a hole in and a hole out, and then it would get wrapped back and forth like the dargish yule vafuki ba'avkasa. A dargish, this is what I understand from this, is that it had loops that were sticking out already from the frame, and then you just attached something on the inside. Yeah. Oh, they have like these springs. It's like a mat. Some beds, they have a mat, like some cots. They have a mat with these springs that they pull it tight and they attach it to a loop. And if they come out, you can never get it back. It's too hard to get it back in. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. Yeah. So when you tie it, it works.
Can I read something? This is such a shagreen made from fish skins, which is what was used in woodworking. This material is commonly referred to as shark skin, but most of the shagreen is from small tropical sharks known as dogfish and rays. These skins had a rough, hard surface of calcified papillae instead of scales. So it sounds like the woodworkers would
Wow.
use
So that's what you said, shark skin. What do you call that? Chagrin.
shagreen, S-H-A.
Sounds like there's that expression. Much to his chagrin.
But that's spelled with a C.
Oh.
Chagrin,
This is with the SH.
S-H and the green.
Uh-huh. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha Amar Rebbe. Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha. Says the name of Rebbe. Uh-huh. Not familiar with that, but okay. Mita shenaklita yoitzin zeikva v'daya. A bed that has naklitin. Naklitin was a type of frame that went up that you could make a canopy. It looked more like a tent. It would come down to two poles in the center, one at the head and one at the feet. And then you could put a canopy over it. And the problem is a bed like that.
Maybe maybe it's like the meta world. Metaverse.
So the problem is when you would try to turn that over, that you wouldn't be able to sleep on the bottom side because you would be on a slant because it has this pole sticking out right in the center. So what do? Zaykfa v'day, you just stand it up. How do you sleep on it? Oh, maybe. Oh, so 1 second. You're gonna sleep on the side.
Yeah.
Zaykfa v'day means you leave it. You stand it on its side.
And that is sufficient for him.
But how would he sleep on it if it's on its side?
It says most commentaries explain that this means to stand it on its side as overturning it is possible. That's what the Roshanary says. Others, however, maintain that the bed remains upright. He merely places a covering over the posts, rendering it possible to sit or lie upon.
Okay, so basically he's not going to be able to sleep on it. That's what Amar Rab Yaakov Baridi, Amar Rab Yeshua ben Levi, Halachic Rab Shimon ben Gamliel. We have over here in the name of Rab Yeshua ben Levi, the halacha like Rab Shimon ben Gamliel, that you just have to undo the loops, undo the loops that were holding it in, and you let the middle out. You don't have to turn over the frame. Okay.
What was the point of bringing in this halacha?
How does all of this come in? Because we said someone that takes a vow not to use a bed was allowed to use a dargish. And then in the dargish, we had two possibilities. Either it was the bed that's not used or the tanner's bed. And then we just spoke about the avelas by the, what you do for this bed.
So that kind of proves that it is a bed?
That it's some sort of bed, yeah. The question that was proving one way or another. Which type of bed is it?
I'm sorry, this is just back up, but it's possible, according to what I just read, that in the 1700s, the Stradivarius violins, which are renowned, actually they used this door, the shark skin with it.
Wow.
As a sandpaper.
Wow.
I'm just saying this. That's
Wow.
big yichus. I beat the bell.
I need them in the ear.
Because the dargash also is called like a bunk bed.
Oh, really? A dargish is a bunk bed.
And it's sometimes a lot of times they have a bunk bed. People say the other one is it's the extra one on top. Current translation.
What is it? Isn't there like a stool, a dargish?
It's also used.
That's the one before the Yisnach.
What is before that? Snachta.
No, that was a bed.
Oh, dargish. Okay. I need them in the ear. Someone takes a vow, he's not going to have benefit from a specific city. He's allowed to go in the 2,000 amas of that city. But he can't go into the 70 amas, which is the area directly around the city, which was used for like a park sort of land. In the Ibura Shalir, the 70. There was an area around the city that was just like green. What was it?
A green space.
A green space. Yeah. That wasn't considered. That was considered part of the city, but the 2,000 amas is not considered part of the city. So again, he took a vow. How close to the city can he get? If he took a vow, he's not going to have benefit from the city. So you can go within the 2,000 amas, but not within the 70.
Las Vegas. A lot of people say never go to Las Vegas.
Wait,
People that
So the
lost
people
money.
lost their money.
are you saying that the 2,000 amas for the tongue starts at the end of the seat,
Yeah.
but not at the end?
No, it actually starts, I think, at the end of the. I think where did the 2,000 amas start? I think after the 70 amas, you start counting 2,000. I think so.
Then what is this?
This is called Ibura. This is the 70 amas. The 70 amas with directly around the city is still considered part of the city. Ibur is like pregnant. Yeah.
Is that derived from the cities of refuge?
Oh, that's a good question. How does it work by the cities of refuge? I don't remember what it says. If the Ibura is enough. However, if someone takes a vow from a specific house, then he's not allowed to go. Sometimes the walls are thick and there's a door frame. So where the door closes, that jam, but it bangs against that, it's the agaf. You can't go past there, but you can still be in the doorway, but outside that jam. I'm not coming in. I'm not going in. Just in the doorway. So okay, now the Gemara says, "Minolam di bura demasa kamasa dami." How do you know that what's the word for it? The area around the city.
Outskirts of a city.
Outskirts. Okay. How do you know that the outskirts of a city are like the city? Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, "I have a proof." The Amar Kra, we have a pasuk. It's uncommon for Rabbi Yochanan to quote psukim. We have to say we have it once. We had another place where the Gemara said we had a bunch of sages, and the Gemara says, "Oh, in Seder Mayed, you have to take out Rabbi Yochanan and put it in Rabbi Yonasan." And I thought that had to do with because Rabbi Yochanan usually doesn't quote psukim, and they were adding in Rabbi Yonasan instead. Anyway, here we have a pasuk. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Amar Krav Yibes Yeshua B'Yerichai. What happened over here was they come out of the Jordan, they come up from they passed over the Jordan, and they were circumcised, and they're going, their first battle was going to be with Yerichai, and it says that Yeshua is in Yerichai, they're planning the battle, and this angel of Hashem appears. He's holding a sword. And he says, "Are you a friend or foe?" Right? You remember?
It's Michael, right?
I don't know. I don't know. In the pasuk it doesn't say. It says Malach Hashem v'charbei shlufa biyadai. You know, he has a sword, and he says, "I'm here because you sin." Yeah, because you sin. They didn't study Torah, or he didn't have them spend the night with their wives or something. He kept them too long, or they didn't study Torah. So, anyway, over there it says that Yeshua is in Yerichai. So what does it mean he's in Yerichai? Yerichai was a locked city. He wasn't inside Yerichai. Aha. Rabbi Yochanan says it must be that the outskirts of the city, around the wall, because you have 70 amas. That's the city of Yerichai. It's a great proof that the outskirts of the city is called the city.
Outskirts belongs to the city.
Yeah.
But it's similar to like now. Like I think it's 7 miles into the ocean. It belongs
Oh, really?
to the country, and then after 7 miles out is international waters.
Yeah, that's why the cruise ships, they go up for a day, just go out through the mountain, they can open up again, it's outside the United States.
How do you know that it's only the 70 amas? Maybe it's important information. Then
You remember the famous Rose Island I told you about in Italy? I'll remind you later.
Maybe it's the 2,000 amas. The Gemara says regarding the tchum, it says that you measure outside the city. Now, because it says outside the city, then obviously it's not the city. It says outside the city. So the outskirts of the city is called the city, but at the outskirt, but the 2,000 amas is called outside the city. So that means it's not in the city; it's outside the city. On the side over here, I have a comment that says that there's a question on this from it says about the outskirts of the city also, that it's from outside the city. But anyway, the Gemara doesn't quote that. Someone takes a vow from the house. He's only prohibited to go past the door jamb. I don't know if that's the word. Is that the word for where the door frame?
Yeah.
So the door frame bangs. But from outside that door jam, it's fine. Masav Rav Mari. Mari has a question. This is talking about again saras on the house. When the kohen closes off the house, so he goes outside the house, of course, before he calls it tameh. But he goes outside and he closes the door. So he says he goes out of the house. Yachol yelech lebeisai. The asker, maybe he can go all the way to his house, and then he would have a long rope. And he would tie it to the doorknob, and he would close the door from his house. Talmud Laimar Pasuk says no. El Pesach Habayis. He just goes to the entrance of the doorway. He doesn't have to go to his house. He just has to leave this house. El Pesach Habayis Yachol Yametach Zamashka. The asker, maybe he could stand under the mashkef is the lintel, the lintel of the house. Maybe he can stand under the door frame. Talmud Laimar Min Habayis. That Shetzim Min Habayis Kulei. He has to leave the entire house. Okay, it said, how does it work? He has to stand outside the door frame, and then he closes it. Now, from that phrase, he has to stand outside the door frame. That means that he can't be in the door frame by the door jamb. So we're seeing that to leave the house, he really has to be further out. How do you know that it works? Even if he went to his house, or if he stood under the door frame and he closed, which he wasn't supposed to. So the pasuk, we learned from the pasuk that it works. He did close off the house, but that wasn't the way he was supposed to do it. Whatever the case is, we see that he's supposed to leave the door frame entirely. He can't be even in the door frame, but just be on the jam. It says Shani Gabi bias to min habayas. Over there by Mitzayra, by the terrace of the house, it says he has to leave from the house. So over there, he needs to even leave the door frame entirely. It cannot be under the lintel. However, by Nedarim, over there we just say that we follow what the language of people, and outside the door jam is already outside the house. So by Nedarim would be different than by Mitzayra.
Yeah.
Okay. Good day, everyone.